This is Coach Janet, and welcome to the Coaching Moment. You know, major life events really do have a way of waking us up to what is important to us and what matters the most. This past Sunday morning, I was greeted with the news that a tornado had done massive damage in the middle of the night to a town 35 miles southeast of where I live. Now that's getting rather close. What if it had been my neighborhood? It was only a county away. Talk about getting a new perspective on life. These days, with all that's happening in the news around us and the economy, we're all being a bit challenged about our perspectives. One could easily agree with Charles Dickens that these are the best of times and the worst of times. I guess it depends on what side of the fence you're on, and more importantly, how you view it. As a life coach, I am profoundly aware that life is about perspective. It really does matter how you view or see things. You might say one will go only as far in this life as their perspective will take them. So what's your perspective on life? Is the glass half empty or half full for you? Is your focus constantly on your problems or what's wrong or what's missing in your life? Or are you focused on what's right about your life and what you have to be grateful for? It's important how you view things. A man who'd lost his job and was suicidal called and contacted his pastor, Dr. Schuller, and told him that because he'd lost his job, he was suicidal. Interestingly enough, Dr. Schuller's response to him was, "Can you walk? Can you talk? Can you see? Well, I figure you have just about everything. You've only lost a job." Talk about perspective. After the damage had been done in this recent tornado, one man made a very profound statement. And that statement came after observing that one half of his house was flattened by the tornado and the other half had been destroyed by a tree. He said, "It's hard to believe. It's hard to take in," Mr. Stevenson said. "But we've got our lives and our health, so we're good to go." We're good to go. Now that's a perspective. And I believe it's this man's perspective that will no doubt help him to make it in the days ahead. You see, if life flows from our perspective, and I believe it really does, then maybe we could all learn a few things from the courage and heroic lives of others like Mr. Stevenson. The truth is, things may not be great, and they may not be like we would like them to be, but as long as we're living and breathing, we're good to go. Andy Andrews, motivational speaker and author, recently wrote an article on hope, and I believe he says it best. Andy shares some of his own personal struggles about losing his home to a hurricane and other major life events that he had to contend with, but this is what he says. "Even in the worst of times, I must remember that I'm still breathing. And if I'm still breathing, that means I'm still here. And if I'm still here, that means that I have not completed what I was put here to do. And if I have not completed what I was put here to do, that means that my very purpose has not been fulfilled. And if my very purpose has not been fulfilled, that means that the most important part of my life has yet to be lived. And if the most important part of my life has yet to be lived, then it really doesn't matter how old I am, or how broke I am, or how long I've tried, or how depressed I might be. Here at last is proof that the best part of my life is ahead of me. Without a doubt, there is more laughter to come, more success in my future. There is more." Now that, my friend, is quite a perspective, and better yet, a great way to live.